Families of detained protesters seek Public Complaints Commission's intervention. CNG stations swamped as Nigerians flock to petrol alternatives. FCTA begins demolition of unauthorized buildings as landowners get ultimatum. On the foreign scene, Hezbollah claims drone strike on Israeli Prime Minister's residence. Good evening and welcome to the News Hour tonight on Trust TV. I am Aisha Salihu. Relatives of persons arrested during the hunger protest in Kano State have approached the Public Complaints Commission, pleading for help to secure the release of their loved ones. Many families claim that detainees are innocent, while some are underage. Trust TV's Abdulaziz Ibrahim reports.
It's a day filled with tears and desperation at the Federal Secretariat in Kano, as families of those arrested during the August hunger protest are here to submit their petitions to the Public Complaints Commission. The protest, which began over the rising cost of living, with reported cases of violence and breakdown of law and order in parts of the state, resulted in numerous arrests, with many families now calling for the release of their children and loved ones.
We have been submitted our petition to him because those our children were took them to Abuja. They are in bad situation. They are in trouble situation. Majority of them are under 18 years.
Fatima Yusuf is one of the many worried mothers here. She says her two sons, aged 13 and 16, are among those taken away.
Gwamnati da ta taimaka ta saka mana da yaranmu, ta saka mana yaranmu su dawo gare mu. Mu ma mu san a halin da yaran nan suke ciki, ba mu san a halin da suke ciki.
We are pleading with those in authority to free our children because we cannot even tell the situation they are in right now. I was pregnant when they were arrested, and I've since given birth to this child I'm carrying. They don't even know what he looks like. The Commissioner of the Public Complaints Commission in Kano, Abdullahi Atta, acknowledges the gravity of the situation. He reveals that a staggering 75% of the detained children from Kano are under the age of 18.
So today, as you are seeing, we are receiving a complaint from hundreds of people. These are parents of the children that were arrested during the protest that took place about 2-3 months ago in Nigeria. These children, most of them, 75% of them from our investigation, are below the age of 18. Some are even 13, 15, 16 years. So they come to complain about the arrest of the children, and they were taken to Abuja. From the information we are receiving is most of the states have gone to Abuja and they have processed for the bail or something about the release of their children. But the people been arrested in Kano State, as you saw the complainants, we are not being released. So we received this complaint and we are going to process it to our headquarters at Abuja. And inshallah, we are hoping the federal government will look into it and release the children of Kano State also.
As the families continue their wait, the situation remains tense. Many are hoping that their cries for the release of their loved ones will soon be heard. Abdulaziz Ibrahim, Trust TV News.
Dozens of occupants of Yori Housing Estate in Sokoto State this Tuesday staged a peaceful protest over what they described as their unlawful eviction by the Sokoto State government. The protesters, who stormed the secretariat of the Nigerian Union of Journalists carrying placards with different inscriptions, alleged that the eviction from the houses they were occupying for over 40 years was unjustified. Trust TV's Yusho Adamu was at the Sokoto Press Center and filed this report.
At least 180 rooms at Yori Housing Estate, with each accommodating 6 persons, were marked for demolition by the Sokoto State government. Presently, the occupants of the affected houses, among them women and children, are sleeping in an open space within the vicinity of the housing estate since their forceful eviction last week. I was born and brought up at this estate. My parents have been occupying a house at this place since 1992. We were evicted just last week, and presently we don't have a place to call our house. We have been sleeping in an open space since last week. I have been staying at this estate for 21 years now. We are forced to sleep on the street, thereby endangering our lives. The angry protesters, including women and aged persons, stormed the premises of the Sokoto State NUJ Secretariat around 4 p.m. protesting their eviction. They allege that the Sokoto State government neither paid compensation nor provided them with alternative shelter prior to their eviction. We have contacted several politicians and the elder statesmen, including Senator Aliyu Magatakardawa Mako, in order to persuade the state government to change its decision, but all in vain, as the state government had marked our houses for demolition. We have seen Senator Wamako 7 times on this issue, and any time we met him, he will promise that things will be resolved. Finally, we have been evicted from our houses we have been occupying for over 40 years.
We choose to help the Sokoto State government by complying to the directives issued, which was duly signed by the Director, Ministry of Land and Housing, that we must vacate the space. Otherwise, the government has already put out all necessary arrangements to demolish the place, having released the circular, pasted almost everywhere around the campus, around the places in our flats, which we complied to that effect.
The occupants, therefore, appeal to the Sokoto State government to consider their plight and reverse its decision, saying with the current economic hardship, it will be difficult for them to secure accommodation for their families. We appeal to the state government to consider our plights and reverse its decision, because with current economic hardship, it will be difficult for us to secure accommodation for our families. Several efforts by the occupants to make the Sokoto State change its decision failed, as they were forcefully evicted from the houses last week. Yusho Adamu, Trust TV News, Sokoto.
In a bid to enforce the Abuja Master Plan, the Federal Capital Territory Development Control has demolished unauthorized structures in Lugbe. Unconfirmed reports suggest the demolition stems from a land dispute, with further claims indicating up to 200 acres of land may face demolition. Meanwhile, the Federal Capital Territory Administration has issued a 3-month ultimatum to owners of uncompleted buildings and undeveloped plots across the Federal Capital City to immediately develop their properties or risk losing them. This move, FCTA explained, was necessitated by what it described as the rapid expansion of shanties and squatters within uncompleted buildings and undeveloped plots across the FCC. This was contained in a document dated October 21, 2024 and signed by the coordinator, Abuja Metropolitan Management Council, Felix Obua, and made available to the media on Monday in Abuja. Onwa noted that the administration has also noted that these buildings and plots are being used as hideouts by men of questionable characters, thereby posing a serious security challenge to the residents. He warned that failure to comply with these directives, the administration may take appropriate action, which shall include revocation of titles and demolition of such abandoned structures. And to judicial matters, Justice Simon Amobeda of the Federal High Court, Kano State, has stopped the Kano State Independent Electoral Commission from conducting local government election scheduled to hold on Saturday, October 26, delivering judgment in a suit filed by one Aminu Aliyu Tiga and APC. The judge held that the appointment of the chairman and his 5 commissioners, being card-carrying members of NNPP and in partisan politics, was contrary to Section 197, subsection 1, subsection B, and 200, subsection 1, subsection A of the 1999 Constitution as amended, and Section 4 of Kano State Independent Electoral Commission Law 2001, and as such are not qualified to be so appointed. The judge also held that the Secretary of the Commission, Anas Muhammad Mustafa, not being an officer in Kano State Civil Service and not below the rank of director prior to his appointment, was not qualified to be appointed to the position by virtue of Section 14 of CANC Law 2001. The court held that the members of the commission are disqualified and removed from their position forthwith.
The decision of the court is that the court has found that, considering the provision or interpretation of the Constitution, what we have challenged, the court said we are right, that those people were appointed were against or were in violation of the Constitution and the extant law.
An upper Sharia court in Kofar Kudu, Kano State, presided over by Justice Abdullahi Sarki Yola, has ordered the police to conduct a discreet investigation into allegations against Awal Sankara, the suspended commissioner for special duties in Jigawa State. The Kano State Hezbollah Board joined complainant Nasiru Buba in the suit on Tuesday, presenting its complaints of having an affair with a married woman against Awal Sankara. The complainant's lawyer, Haruna Magashi, stated that his client has, among other compelling evidence, proof of financial transactions suggesting that his wife was involved in an affair with Sankara beyond suggestions that he patronized her food business. Meanwhile, the first respondent in the case, the complainant's wife, Taslim Baba, revealed through her counsel that she had abandoned the marriage after suffering physical abuse from her husband and requested a thorough investigation.
We have transactions that would be enough to raise suspicion. Transactions that are beyond selling of food. So when we present these documents and evidence to the investigator, I'm sure he will know that it is not a transaction of buying and selling food.
That is just a mere propaganda. If they have anything, let them bring it. Because we are so eager, we are so anxious to prove the innocence of our client. And so, by the wills of Allah, we are going to do that.
We vehemently objected to his claim, and we also urge the court to direct the appropriate authority to open an investigation in respect of this matter. We inform the court about what has been happening in the marriage, up to the extent that she deserted the house. She went back to her parent because she could no longer continue living with him.
Following the removal of subsidy on petroleum products, which caused the price of PMS to skyrocket in Nigeria, the federal government has continued to urge Nigerians to adopt compressed natural gas as an alternative to petrol. With fuel prices currently exceeding 1,000 naira, more Nigerians are turning to CNG due to its affordability. However, the cost of conversion kits and more recently, the apparent scarcity of CNG filling stations may be causing some to reconsider. Trustee Sagir Ibrahim brings you details in this report.
While speaking with car owners at the station to refuel, they confirmed that using CNG as an alternative to premium motor spirit PMS has indeed been a lifesaver from the exorbitant cost of petrol.
You save almost 60 to 70% instead of buying petrol.
It's very good, so they enjoy them.
The experience is something that you cannot compare. CNG is far much better. When it comes to consumption, is okay. When it comes to economy, the finances is okay.
Speaking on the government's efforts to ensure its availability to most Nigerians, Senior Special Assistant to the President on Digital Media, Otega Ogra, revealed that the federal government had invested heavily in the scheme through the Presidential Compressed Natural Gas Initiative to make the transition from premium motor spirit to gas as seamless as possible.
Past few months, Presidential CNG initiative, which is set up, has actually done a lot in that regard. Getting free kits, conversion kits to commercial drivers across the country, starting with a couple of states, to creating conversion centers, and also encouraging private sector participation. It burns cleaner, meaning that your engine actually becomes more efficient in a better way than if you're using either PMS or heavier fuel like diesel.
If you fuse this cylinder, how far can it drive?
Okay,
from here to Lagos?
Not really, but let's say from here to Kaduna. Because with this I can run nothing less than 150 kilometers. And how much is it?
How much?
35.
To fill this?
To fill it.
Interesting.
Well, the CNG, according to Nigerians, is obviously a blessing. This is because it has reduced the cost of procuring petrol from filling stations across the country. But the question, how has life been after the conversion? Well, this queue is not a petrol queue. They're not queuing to buy fuel. These guys are queuing to buy gas. Reasons being that they've been unable to get other filling points aside this station here in the Lugbe Airport Road and another station located around the Kubwa axis, being the only two stations, according to them, that fills CNG gas. Take a listen to them.
The challenge now is very scarce, and everybody is running to CNG because of high cost of petrol, but the availability is a serious challenge. That's the only place we can buy throughout the whole airport road. This is the only point we can get.
As I did now, before I reach my turn, it was anything to 11.
Why?
Because of population now, you can see population.
The federal government asked us to convert our vehicles. We did convert our vehicles, but now we don't know where to buy the CNG from.
This morning, I spent 3 hours here. I do e-hailing. I spent 3 hours here this morning, and I'm here again. And I've spent about 1 hour here again now.
Today is my first day, but my experience was not palatable at all.
Tell us.
I came here in the morning. There were hundreds of cars.
I have not gone home since yesterday, 4 p.m. till now.
With the scarcity of filling stations to meet the growing demands for gas, concerns have also been raised about the rising cost of transportation, even as more Nigerians convert to CNG. This, according to Dr. Garba Bawa, an engineer who runs a CNG conversion plant in the Federal Capital Territory, can largely be attributed to human factors.
It's a typical human nature Nigerian factor. These commercial drivers were given these kits at a heavily discounted price. In fact, some of them got it for free. Compliments of Mr. President. The idea is that if the commercial vehicles get it for free or at a heavily discounted price, it should translate to the cost of transportation for the common man on the street. They've gotten this, but they are also keeping the differentials that they are making. So they're just making more money for themselves.
Dr. Bawa also addressed a recent incident where the cylinder of a CNG vehicle exploded in Edo State.
First and foremost, the cylinder, a proper CNG cylinder, is a one-piece cylinder without any joint. It is a heavy, bulletproof cylinder that what happened in Benin, if you see the cylinder that they use, is nowhere near what a proper cylinder should be. For the sake of safety, always use accredited CNG conversion centers.
He further explained that road transport unions have begun sanctioning union members who benefited from the government's free conversion initiative but continue to charge fares similar to petrol-powered vehicles. In the meantime, Nigerians are waiting in hopes that transportation fares will drop soon, while CNG vehicle owners look forward to the availability of more CNG stations for easier access. Sagir Ibrahim, Trust TV News, Abuja.
A former member of the House of Representatives, Farouk Lawan, who was sentenced to 5 years imprisonment for demanding and accepting $500,000 bribe has regained freedom. Lawan's conviction was upheld by the Supreme Court on January 26, 2024. He was found guilty of soliciting a $3 million bribe from Femi Otedola, a Nigerian billionaire oil tycoon, while serving as chairman of the House of Representatives ad hoc committee investigating fuel subsidy fraud in 2012. The Senate has established an ad hoc committee to investigate allegations of drug trafficking made by the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency against the Deputy Majority Leader, Senator Lola Ashiru. The committee followed a motion on the order of privileges raised by Senator Ashiru during Tuesday's plenary. National Assembly correspondent Sagir Ibrahim brings details.
The NDLEA had in a statement on Monday claimed that narcotics were found at the residence of Senator Ashiru, leading to the arrest of 2 of his aides. The allegations, which were contained in the release by the agency's spokesman Femi Babafemi, were made public shortly after Senator Ashiru accused the NDLEA of corruption and being compromised. During his presentation, the senator denied ever using or handling drugs throughout his life, explaining that his concerns were strictly about the growing problem of drug abuse and trafficking in the country. The Kwara lawmaker had described the actions of the NDLEA as an attempt to deny the Senate of its right to free debate on issues of national interest.
Your Excellency, I am of opinion that for the protection of myself as a member of this Auno chamber, for the protection of the Senate and other senators, we must do something about this. ASU Summit.
Senate President Godswill Akpabio, in his comments, expressed concerns about the timing of the NDLEA's allegations and urged the committee to start its investigations without delay.
We recovered consignment of drugs from Senator Ashiru's house, and this is said to have happened in February last year, and it is only coming up now because we made contributions on the floor of the Senate. These things, we must, my dear colleagues, we must take this issue very seriously, because injury to one is injury to all, and we must call this agency to order.
The ad hoc committee, chaired by Senator Eyinaya Abaribe, is tasked with submitting its report within a week. Its members include Senators Ede Dafinon, Ireti Kingibe, Afolabi Shoaibu, Lawan Usman, and Kaka Shehu. From the National Assembly, Sagir Ibrahim, Trust TV News, Abuja.
The Osun State Security Network Agency, also known as Amotekun Corps, has arrested 4 ex-convicts and other suspects for various crimes. The Amotekun Corps commander in the state, Omoyele Isaac, paraded the suspects at the Amotekun headquarters in Osogbo on Tuesday. Hamido Egbade reports.
Musbau Ganiyu, an ex-convict, was arrested by the Amotekun operatives for robbing a POS operator. The Amotekun Corps commander, Omoyele Isaac, said the suspect was operating with 3 other ex-convicts, namely Afiz Ayuba, Awal Adebayo, and Ileri Oluwa Nuruddin, until they were arrested. I was arrested at Okini. It was true. We stole phones and money, and we were caught. My arrest led to the arrest of other gang members. The Amotekun Corps commander also paraded a woman, Taiwo Badru, for allegedly defrauding several people.
Because I collected money from my brothers, my husband's brothers, that I'm going to give him money, that I should collect money from the bank, so we'll be paying the bank monthly. But unfortunately, I didn't take the money to the bank. I used the money to finance my husband in farming and pay my son and daughter's school fees. That's why I found myself here.
So I don't know how the correctional center will be reforming all these people, because by going there and coming back, they are not reformed. So they will be taken to the appropriate authorities where they will be prosecuted again. But I promise I will follow up the prosecution. I will follow it up to the letter so that I will know where it will end. He is the one that will post as a bank manager. He will post as a regional manager. No, nothing that she cannot do to defraud people. I asked her, where did you get this experience? She said she just found herself in that way.
Omoyele said the suspect will be handed over to the police for prosecution and assured residents of safety of their lives and properties. Amid Oyegbade, Trust TV News, Oshogbo.
The House of Representatives has summoned the FCT Minister Nyesom Wike over the rise in kidnappings and security challenges in the Federal Capital Territory. The Commissioner of Police, FCT, Olatunji Disu, and the Director General of the State Security Service, Adeola Ajayi, have also been called to appear before the House Committees on FCT, Police Affairs and National Security. This follows a motion of urgent public importance raised by Representative Ismail Haruna. The report.
The lawmaker said the House is aware that it has been a tumultuous and scary situation for people living within the Capital Territory, as the use of unregistered and unpainted taxis has further worsened the situation, providing an easy conduit for criminal activities within the city. Haruna also expressed worry that residents of the Federal Capital Territory are living in fear as the security of the nation's seat of power has continued to deteriorate as brutal criminals go about their daily operations without mercy on citizens. Haruna recounted how his aide was recently killed by one-chance criminals who dumped her body after robbing her.
Also aware that it has been a tumultuous and scary situation for people living within the Capital Territory of the use of unregistered and unpainted taxis has further worsened the situation, providing an easy conduit for criminal activities within the capital city. Worried that the residents of the Federal Capital Territory, FCT, are living in fear as the security of the nation's seat of power has continued to deteriorate as brutal criminals go about with their daily operations without mercy on citizens.
Meanwhile, the House of Representatives has passed for second reading a bill seeking to amend the 1999 Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria as amended to create a new Oyo State with Oyo Town as its capital. The bill also proposes a name change for the remaining part of the current Oyo State to Ibadan State with Ibadan as its capital. It further aims to define the local government areas for both new states and address related matters. Leading the debate, Representative Akim Adeyemi argued that the present Oyo State, the largest in the southwest geopolitical zone, with 33 local governments and a population of over 5 million, deserves to be split into two.
To stand in for the debate on a bill for an act to alter the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999 as amended to create new Oyo State with Oyo Town as the capital city from Oyo State. Effect consequential change of the name of the remaining part of Oyo State to Ibadan State with Ibadan City as the capital city and define for local government areas comprising the two states and for the matters.
He emphasized that the proposed new Oyo State is both economically and politically viable, with abundant mineral resources, tourism potential, industries, agriculture and water resources to sustain its development.
You're watching the News Hour tonight on Trust TV. Coming up ahead. Amid a resurgence in climate change debates, experts advocate preserving forest ecosystem. All news on return. Do stay with us. Welcome back and thanks for staying with us. Let's have another look at some of our top stories. We told you that families of detained protesters seek Public Complaints Commission's intervention. You also heard CNG stations swamped as Nigerians flock to petrol alternatives. And Thomas Stories. Stakeholders in Nigeria's agricultural sector have emphasized the need for a multifaceted approach to achieve food security in the country. This approach, they say, will ensure that diverse groups are incorporated into policies that will boost agriculture and lead to food sufficiency as millions across Asia, Africa, and South America face food insecurity and malnutrition. Trustee Viz Habibat Ajayi has more.
For the third consecutive year, floods have devastated farmlands, leading to significant food losses. This crisis is compounded by escalating conflict, economic instability, and fluctuating staple food prices. Experts predict that Nigeria will confront serious food security challenges, particularly in the northeast, northwest, and north-central states up to early 2025. In response, stakeholders are calling for reforms and renewed intervention in the agricultural sector, particularly through development finance institutions, to boost food production.
Well, as I said, seriously, the government must look into seriously security. We have enough arable land to farm. We just have to fight this insecurity from bandits, from ICIS, from all kinds of groups that are making it impossible for Nigeria to produce enough food to feed itself.
While acknowledging the various challenges, they urge government at all levels to do more to improve the agricultural landscape.
Nigeria will come to a level where even today, fertilizer NPK goes at about 45,000 to 50,000. How can you have food security when you have to buy fertilizer? What is the subsidy? Nothing is more secured than a good belly without hunger. But we're talking about banditry and what have you. When you are safe, when you have food, that's the best security, food security, but we're not ready for it yet. I think something has to be done about it.
You have to start from the farm. A lot of Nigerians have been advised to go into the farm to cultivate more crops. But you and I know that even now, there's still this problem between the herders and the farmers. It has discouraged a lot of people from going into farm in the first instance. That is number one. Number two, if you look at our topography in this country, you find out that most roads or most road networks are not visible. They are lacking. They are not there actually. Coming between east and north here, between Enugu and Kogi State, you run like 2 hours. The road is nothing to write home about.
By prioritizing collaboration and targeted interventions, government leaders can play a crucial role in stabilizing food production and ensuring that all Nigerians have access to sufficient and nutritious food. Habibat Ajayi, Trust TV News, Abuja.
Adamawa State Governor Ahmadu Umaru Fintiri has expressed satisfaction with the ongoing construction of the Gima Ultra Modern Stadium following an unscheduled inspection. With 5 months to completion, Fintiri urged for continued speedy progress, emphasizing the need for quality and accountability in the use of state funds. He reaffirmed his administration's commitment to revitalizing sports in the state, highlighting the stadium's potential to boost youth engagement in sports and employment. Fintiri also inspected the superhighway project from the city gate to AA Lawan Junction, another initiative under his administration.
He is moving according to timeline and he is keeping to pace based on the project specification. And we don't want to be pessimistic. This is not in line with our policy. We always deliver ahead of time. That is what we believe in. And I want to assure you that it's not going to be different here. I will be here day and night if it requires to see that every inch of the project that is agreed to be put in place, we'll put them in place.
Some environmental experts have raised concerns over the gradual extinction of the Abuja gabonensis, popularly known as Auno, from the forest in Bayelsa State and the Niger Delta at large. According to them, increase in the release of greenhouse gases into the atmosphere with attendant implications of soil erosion and massive flooding, is another issue plaguing the species. Friday, Ebimobowe Peter completes the report.
From afar, one can easily hear the sounds of sawing machines in and around the forest of Abuja State rending the air. While the lumberjack and the operators smile to the banks, the forests suffer many effects, which in short time result to soil erosion, flood, and depletion of the ozone layer with the increase in the emission of greenhouse gases.
Technology is good, but this failing without the effective control of government has made them to take undue advantage of the technology of this motor saw. But today, because of the motor saw technology, you hear it sounding everywhere in our forest, bringing down the trees in their numbers. We have truckloads of this timber leaving Bayelsa, even parts of Delta State.
Trees are felled indiscriminately across Abuja State and beyond. For instance, in Ogbe local government area, where you hardly see a tree above 15 years, the operators have ventured into felling the prohibited trees, like the Avengers gabonensis, popularly known as Ogbono. This economic tree is gradually going into extinction. According to Alagwa, the gradual absence of the Avengers species is not unconnected with the illegal logging of woods in some thick forests for plants and firewood.
And every year when it gets to the season, at the beginning of the rainy season, you get it. And some people plan to buy canoe, to buy wrapper, to build house from this bush mango. So it is part of our local economy, just like flooding. So if you deny these people of this aspect of the local economy, you have denied us quite a lot.
If anything planted, let the government come in to come and plant, because after now, even for this level year, who don't finish, the ones who the sun now, just like pool, light pool, IS now 1-1, now they get for one log. So wood already wood don't finish. Before you go figure wood now a river name beside or southern a jaw down.
The quest for firewood as a result of the high cost of cooking gas and the rise in unemployment rate are huge factors.
Where they get the firewood?
The firewood at the enter bush, they cut the trip. They carry out, they carry the go the boy the banga.
Normally we don't saw but some of bad operators they saw sometimes when the owner is not there. So those are the issues we are facing.
To this end, government must set up a forest guard and initiate stringent laws that will protect the forest from destruction by placing a huge fine on anyone caught felling down the Avengers species. From Yanagwa, Friday, Ebimobowe Peter, Trust TV News.
Parents of students attending Legga State Mel Colleges have expressed outrage over threats by school principals to send students home for failing to pay the newly increased feeding fees, which have surged by more than 200%. Trust TV News reports that the Legga State Ministry of Education recently increased boarding school feeding fees from 35,000 naira to 100,000 naira, a decision met with widespread rejection by parents. In response, parents engaged the Ministry and the State House of Assembly demanding a reversal of the fee hike ahead of the new school term. The report.
On Monday, frustrated parents stormed the State House of Assembly, calling the fee hike a distraction from their children's education. They are demanding an immediate return to the original 35,000 naira fee, describing the increased cost as unfair and unaffordable. They also raised concerns about the conditions in the school, citing poor hygiene in kitchens and overcrowded dining halls. According to the parents, students from Basic 1 to JSS 3 are supposed to receive free education, yet they are made to pay various fees.
We asked them in the platform, principal, address us. Why are you addressing the children? Why not come out straight to the parents to talk about these increments, which we have talked about and we have kicked against it? Why go back to distract these children in school? Most of them now are distracted. The students are distracted. They are scared. worried about their future.
Our children have been subjected to a lot of maltreatment, malnutrition, ulcer, health-wise. In fact, we don't even know. Now, the issue is that they are now using our children as a bait on us to cough out 100,000 naira.
So we are begging the governor, Mr. Babajide Olushola Sanwo-Olu, please, we are begging. Parents are begging. The increment is outrageous. Please, bring it down. Education is supposed to be free. Education is supposed to be free for us. Education is free. You people went to free education school, and that's why you become a governor today. Yes. We want our children to become governor tomorrow.
Yes. Some children are at home that they've not yet resumed. We have the GS1 new intake. They said they paid the sum of 100,000, and SS1 that they must pay the sum of 100,000 before they resume. Even the GS2, some of them are yet to resume. Why? Where are we going?
We are here in pleading, not we are forcing. We are pleading that they should do it anyhow where government know how to strategize us, for us to reduce it, for us to be paying that 35,000. Let government come for our assistance.
We want Sanwo-Olu, Mr. Babajide Sanwo-Olu, to come and explain to us why is he enforcing 100,000 on us. Secondly, we want all the principals, all the school principal, the senior, the junior principal, they should come and explain if they cannot manage 35 million naira to feed 1,000 of students in 3 months. They should come and explain to us.
In some schools, parents reported being asked to contribute 100 naira each for fuel to pump water. The Parent Forum is urging the government to reconsider the fee hike and address the poor conditions in schools, while also calling for immediate actions to prevent further harm to their children's education and well-being.
More Nigerians have continued to commiserate with the government and people of Jigawa State following the devastating petrol tank explosion in Majia town of Taura local government area of the state. The latest is the 2023 presidential candidate of the Labour Party and ex-Anambra State Governor Peter Obi, who visited Governor Namadi in the state. The report.
The tragic incident, which occurred recently, has left the entire nation in mourning as it claimed the lives of about 200 people, while many others remain hospitalized with severe injuries. The explosion, one of the deadliest in recent times, has deeply affected the local community and drawn attention to the need for improved safety measures in fuel transportation.
And assure them that Nigerians are with them at this time. We've had tankers explosion all over Nigeria. People will question why do people get involved whenever we have this situation. We'll also ask ourselves the question, how we have cared as a nation. So we care to condole you, and I assure you that our prayers are with the state, our prayers are with the families, our prayers are to Almighty Allah to forgive them their sins and grant them eternal rest.
Peter Obi expressed his condolence to the victims' families and the people of Jigawa State, while stating that the loss of lives in such a horrific manner was a national tragedy. He urges the federal and state governments to not only support the victims but also intensify efforts towards ensuring that such disasters do not reoccur.
At our own level as a state government, since the happening of this instance, we have been trying to at least keep the people in a little bit so that we will improve their livelihood. The situation is quite pathetic. As at today's count, about 181 people died, and I think we have almost 81 hospitalized. So the number, and this is quite big. So, and alhamdulillah, we thank God that whatever happens is from Allah, and we have accepted it. It's from Allah, and Allah knows the best.
Governor Namadi, who has been overseeing rescue operations and the provision of emergency services since the incident, thanked Peter Obi for his visit. The governor reaffirmed his administration's commitment to providing relief to the affected families while emphasizing the need for stronger regulations and enforcement in the petroleum distribution sector. Both leaders stressed the importance of national unity and collaboration in addressing safety concerns and supporting the rebuilding efforts in Jigawa State. The investigation into the cause of the explosion is ongoing, with authorities working to prevent future occurrences of such devastating accidents.
And to a sad development, no fewer than 5 personnel of the Nigerian Air Force on Tuesday lost their lives in a ghastly road accident along the Jos Akonga Express Road. It was gathered that the personnel were among those attending a sports event in Abuja on 22nd October when they met their untimely death. NAF spokesman Olushola Akimboyewa, who confirmed the tragic incident, explained that the seized vehicles has had a head-on collision with an oncoming truck. Akimboyewa said statutory administrative protocols applicable in circumstances regarding the laws have been activated. He said the NAF would provide comfort and succor to the bereaved families, adding that Nigerians should respect the privacy of the deceased personnel. He pledged that updates would be communicated to Nigerians in due course. It's time now to join Yusuf Akogu for the business news.
Time for some business stories. The federal government has reviewed plans to boost crude oil production by an additional 1 million barrels per day by 2026. The Chief Executive Officer of the Nigerian Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission, Legga stated this during an event celebrating the 3rd anniversary of the Commission's establishment on Monday in Abuja. According to him, the aim is to enhance the country's energy output and contribute to economic growth. The initiative will also tackle key challenges in the sector, such as oil theft, pipeline vandalism, outdated infrastructure, and attracting investment. NPRC reported a dip in production from 1.571 million barrels per day in August to 1.544 million barrels per day in September, representing a 1.68% decline. Nigeria's electricity crisis has hit a new height as the Transmission Company of Nigeria says most part of northern Nigeria is currently under blackout due to transmission line tripping. A statement by TCN General Manager on Public Affairs, Ndidi Umba, on Tuesday said the tripping 330 kV DC transmission line occurred on Monday, plunging the northeast, northwest, and parts of north central into a blackout. Umba said the 330 kV Ugwaji APR double cycle transmission lines 1 and 2 tripped due to a fault resulting in a forced power outage. She stated that throughout Monday, the APR team patrolled the line, navigating challenging terrain in search of the fault reaching as far as the River Benue. According to her, TCN is making efforts to trace the cause of the outage to enable its engineers effect repairs and restore bulk power supply through both lines. Investors buying interest in penny stocks helped NGS to close Tuesday trading in green. Let's see how it all went down today. Transco Hall lead again as at 9.28% to close at 106 naira per share. Then Wapik and Insurance Company gained 9.09% to close at 96 kobo per share. UPDs also recorded 6.90% gain to close at 1 naira and 55 kobo per share. Of course, this has pushed up the index up by 0.21%, 591.01 million volume of shares. The value at 24.84 billion naira in a list of 6,987 lead exchanges among investors. There, of course, looking at the top trading equities by volume, Champion PLC lead the table, 255.28 million shares it traded. Japan Gold 108.50 million shares. Of course, UBA came a distant there, 34.99 million volume of shares it traded today. Of course, some equities recorded losses. Leading the loser is John Holt PLC down 9.84% to close at 2 naira and 75 kobo per share. The Tantalizer PLC also down 9.84% to close at 55 kobo per share. Of course, Regal is also on the negative side today, 7.14% to close at 52 kobo per share there. Let's see the global stock market and exchange rate data for today. prices rise to nearly $75 a barrel on Tuesday, extending gains from the previous session as investors weigh the impact of China's stimulus measures to boost its economy and concerns over tension in the Middle East persist. At the London market, Brent crude sells for $74 per barrel. For the oil basket, dealers offer $73 per barrel. And that's business. I am Yusuf Akubu.
And to developments away from Nigeria, the Lebanese group Hezbollah on Tuesday claimed responsibility for last week's drone attack on the home of Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu in Caesarea in northern Israel. Hezbollah spokesman Mohammed Afif said the group was fully and exclusively responsible for the October 19 attack that targeted the home of Netanyahu. Netanyahu's office said the Prime Minister and his family were not at the site at the time of the attack. Israel has mounted a huge air campaign in Lebanon since September 23 against what it says are Hezbollah targets in an escalation from a year of cross-border warfare between Israel and the Lebanese group since the start of Israel's brutal offensive on Gaza. Nearly 2,500 people have been killed and more than 11,600 others injured in Israeli attacks since last year, according to Lebanese health authorities. Israel expanded the conflict on October 1 this year by launching a ground assault into southern Lebanon. Let's join Adeni Ajishafe for some sports news.
Crown Champions Football Club were crowned champions of 2024 5th edition of Amola Football Championship after beating impressive Premium Boys FC 5-4 on penalties in the final at Ido-Osun High School football pitch, Ido-Osun State on 20th October 2024. The keenly contested match attracted top dignitaries, sport enthusiasts and stakeholders across Osun State. Premium Boys FC proved bookmakers wrong by making it to the final, taking the lead 9 minutes into the opening half through a header from Sanusi Habib. Crown Champions FC dug deep to get the equalizer as Ikiru boys worked hard for the right formula in the 17th minute through Gani Wasiu, making a delightful pass from Alabi Toby to level up at end of the first half. The second half could not produce more goals till the central referee's final whistle. During the penalty shootout, Crown Champions FC had the last laugh with their goalie to thank as the hero of the match after saving one and scoring the decider to land his team the trophy. Individual awards were presented starting with the match officials. Taiwo Oladoyin of Premium Boys FC won the best coach of the tournament, with Adeboye Abdullahi of Crown Champions FC winning the best goalkeeper, while Kasali Abdulrazak of Premium Boys FC scooped the best player for his solid performance in the competition. Teammate Sikiru Adekunle and Adeyemi Musliudeen of Adegbite FC won the Golden Boot Award, with Crown Champions FC lifting the coveted trophy. Founder Amola Football Championship speaks on the improvement the championship has recorded so far.
For this year, we make it in such a way that we improved more in terms of we make the match all live streamed, and we bring in some improvement in the technical aspects of the game. And also, I give kudos to our referees, Osogbo Society. They did wonderfully, and their performance are top notch. And next year, I'm very sure will be hot and will be very, very huge, because we can only improve every year. We cannot be perfect.
Oladile further spoke on the development of grassroots football in Nigeria.
If you could see, grassroots football helps to dictate naturalists. It is easy to catch them. I can give you like 4 or 5 players which I believe that they have played in Amola Football Championship, and presently their status have changed.
The 2024 Amola Football Championship will go down in history as one of the best and well-organized grassroots football competitions as fans look forward to the next season. That's Sport News. I'm Adeni Ajishafe.
Very well then, that's about the size of our package for you tonight on the News Hour on Trust TV. Remember, you can always follow us across all of our social media platforms, and also join our YouTube live stream for more news programs and documentary. I am Aisha Salihu. Thank you so much for watching. Have a good night.